Slow, atmospheric music, dim lighting, a single figure walking through a quiet urban setting at night. The figure pauses, gazing at a distant city skyline. Have you ever felt it? That shift, the one that happens as we grow older. Once, life was about fun, about seeking excitement and pleasure in every corner, but somewhere along the way, something changed. A new voice began to whisper, "Find meaning, take responsibility." This is the shift from entertainment to meaning, a journey we're all forced to walk. But is this search for meaning real, or is it just another illusion we've been taught to follow? The philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre spoke of the condemnation to be free, the burden of creating meaning in a universe that offers none. But for many of us, this burden is never a choice. It feels like an obligation, a narrative we've been handed without asking, a narrative where, as we grow, fun fades, and meaning takes its place. In ancient tribes, the shift from fun to meaning was clear. As boys became men, they took on roles that contributed to the tribe's survival. Hunting, protecting, risking their lives for something larger than themselves. This was their meaning, their path. But what about now? In today's world, the tribal context is gone, yet the need for meaning remains. We seek purpose in our jobs, our relationships, our status. The psychologist Jordan Peterson famously said that meaning comes from responsibility. But is it truly that simple, or is it just another layer of expectation, another way society nudges us along a pre-designed path? The existentialists, Sartre, Camus, Nietzsche, they all questioned the idea of meaning. Camus even said that life's only serious philosophical question is whether or not we should commit suicide. Harsh? Perhaps. But he was pushing us to confront the absurdity of our search for purpose in a universe that offers none by default. And what if meaning, like fun, is just another reward system in our brain? An evolutionary trick designed to push us toward actions that benefit the group rather than ourselves. This is where the philosophies of Arthur Schopenhauer come in. Schopenhauer believed that life was suffering, driven by an endless cycle of desire and disappointment. But what if that suffering comes not from the lack of meaning, but from the search for it? What if our constant quest for purpose is the real trap? Just like the thrill of fun fades as we age, the satisfaction from finding meaning becomes harder to sustain. No matter how high we climb, how much we achieve, whether it's money, family, status, the fulfillment grows thinner, scarcer. Friedrich Nietzsche warned us that traditional values and paths to meaning, be it through religion, success, or morality, were crumbling under modernity. He called it the death of God. But what replaces it? In many ways, we are like Sisyphus, condemned to push a boulder up a hill, only to watch it roll back down. We are told that the meaning comes from the climb, from the responsibility we take. But what if the boulder isn't a symbol of meaning? What if it's a distraction, keeping us from seeing the absurdity of the task itself? This realization leads many into what's called nihilism, the belief that life has no inherent meaning. For those who realize that the boulder isn't worth the climb, that relationships, success, and societal approval may not bring fulfillment, the result is often a profound emptiness. Nietzsche called this the greatest danger of modern times. And for many men, this realization brings what's known as the red pill rage. The anger that stems from discovering the traditional path to fulfillment, success, relationships, family, is not only elusive but perhaps fundamentally flawed. The rules of the game were stacked against you from the start. It's at this point that many turn to philosophers like Albert Camus for guidance. Camus believed that the only way to face the absurdity of existence was to embrace it, to live in defiance of meaninglessness and continue pushing the boulder, not for a reward, but simply because we choose to. But what if we chose something else? What if instead of being trapped by the search for meaning, we return to the simplicity of fun, of joy? In childhood, fun was the pursuit. We played games, explored our world, and enjoyed the present moment without needing a grand reason. What if we could return to that mindset? What if life doesn't have to be about achieving meaning through responsibilities and sacrifice? Epicurus believed that pleasure was the highest good, ataraxia, the state of serene contentment, free from worry. Could it be that the path to fulfillment lies not in endless searching, but in the simple act of enjoying what's before us? Fun, unlike meaning, is renewable. It's simple, sensory, and immediate. The philosopher Zhuangzi spoke of the Tao, the natural way of life, where freedom comes not from forcing purpose, but from flowing with the world as it is. The search for meaning is seductive, yes. It promises fulfillment, status, even immortality in the eyes of others. But meaning, as we've seen, is scarce. It can fade or disappear entirely. Perhaps instead of constantly searching for purpose, we should turn back to what's simple, to fun, to joy, to the present moment. The philosophies of Epicurus, Zhuangzi, and even Camus remind us that life doesn't need to be an eternal struggle for meaning. It can be lived in small, joyful moments, and maybe in those moments we'll find something more valuable than meaning itself.